Alright, welcome back. It's time to take Arcanist Vitruvian to the ladder. So, just to recap, we are playing a mid-range combo deck. We're planning on using our synergy between Arcanysts and spells, both of which are pretty okay otherwise, or at least our spells are, to overpower our opponent on the board and snowball a massive advantage. Songhai. This is probably a roughish matchup. They are quite fast, and we don't have that many speedy answers to things. So I think this mulligan is reasonably obviously these. I'm quite glad that we have a 2-drop, even though we don't have a full mana play or anything particularly exciting to do on the second turn. We can at least play Bone Swarm on attack, or play this if we haven't drawn anything else to do. Dominate Will is not going to be relevant for a long time, and may not be relevant against Songhai anyway, because they like to sit quite far away if they can help it. And a second Entropic Decay certainly isn't going to be of much use, because that's just going to get really clunky. It's going to be quite difficult for us to connect with one in the first place, but obviously we can only replace 2 cards here, and I think I'd rather have some kind of removal in my hand, if nothing else. That is better. Sunseer seems quite good in this matchup. I don't know if I want Bone Swarm. I think I do. And I think this is probably... If we can run away with the Prismatic Illusionist early on, I think we're in good shape. I am unquestionably casting this. The question is, do I replace any of these cards now? Possibly the Sunseer. I'm kind of looking for either a 4-drop or a Wish. It would be nice to have like a Scion's First Wish or something. Inner Oasis, that's not terrible. Second Decay. Well, let's hope the opponent plays a Lantern Fox in my face. They're not going to, but we can dream. That technically dies to Bone Swarm, but not anymore. Am I going to get hit for 8? Yes. Well, you know what I was saying about Entropic Decay? Although, I wish I had my Sunseer back. So I think we're just going to pop Jaxi down here, blow this up. So, replace choices. I think we can replace this Inner Oasis. It's expensive and no more or less clunky than the second Entropic Decay. This is not an amazing hand, but at least we got to trade our life total for some amount of card advantage there. So our opponent's only got 3 cards left in hand, and we have nearly a full grip. Oh wow. Do I just run up and play... Right, I think we need to get some Provoke going. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to move my Jaxi up, and I'm going to move my Illusionist up, and I'm going to give one of these Cosmic Flesh, and I'm just trying to figure out which one. Probably the Illusionist, although it sort of sucks if it gets turned into a panda. No, I think it's got to be the Illusionist. Quite tempted to attack here, just so we get to have a Jaxi on board next turn, or force my opponent to deal with it. I hope it doesn't spawn in this top corner. Okay, good. We're going to need this as a Hail Mary. The Bone Swarm is probably a little low impact now. Sunseer, excellent, okay. Ooh, Owlbeast Sage. So next turn we can do Sunseer Bloodborne spell, if we're not dead. Okay. Our opponent just refilled their hand. That's pretty good, I guess. Okay. So Owlbeast Sage is very tempting. We could just start snowballing this huge board right now. It does mean we can't gain any life yet, but I think I prefer that, honestly. Like, we can just put a nice big wall in between me and Reva. Play this. Attack. I think I might as well attack with this guy. Like, I do want to apply pressure to my opponent. Entropic Decay is getting steadily worse here, but I think I'm going to hold on to it anyway. Right, let's hope our opponent doesn't really have very many minions. Oh, here comes something. Spelljammer. That is fine. And you're Phoenix firing me? Yeah. Oh boy. What am I on? 9. We're not that far off lethal. We only need a few more damage. What should I replace? I'm going to replace this other Owlbeast Sage. I want to replace something because I want to have a shot at drawing a pump spell. That's not very useful, but it does trigger all our effects. I think I'm going to play Inner Oasis first. So the decision is between playing this to try and draw a card. So right now we have 3, 9, 7, 9, 10, 11, assuming this dies. Or this moves out the way. 12, 13, 14 damage. So if you draw a Scion Second Wish, we just win. If not, I guess the Sunset is too slow to save us anyway. So come on, pump. Second Inner Oasis. Well, I guess that's better than nothing. That is a lot of damage. I'm just going to attack my opponent with as much stuff as I can. I'm going to stand here, I think. Oh, maybe that's unwise. No, this is, yeah, this doesn't protect against juxtaposition, but that's fine. Okay, are we dead? Should never have replaced that Sunseer in the first place. Oh dear. That's a Blood Rage Mask. Okay. 1 damage. Oh dear. 2, 3. Oh. 4, 5. Does she have the Killing Edge? Yes. No. Saber Spine Seal. That's lethal. That's exactly lethal. We almost got there. That was a good game, actually. That was pretty close. Again, I would not consider that a good matchup for this sort of deck, and I am, you know, reasonably high up the ladder. Let's give that another shot, and then I'll show you the ridiculous replay that I mentioned in the first video. Basically, I had this game that went on for, I think, an alarmingly long time. I think it was something like 25 minutes. With just huge haymakers on both sides. Songhai again? Come on. This isn't fair. They're not allowed to play Songhai. What is this hand? Okay. So we have the turn 1 3/5 Sunseer. That's a pretty good start. I'm going to replace the Starfire Scarab on one of these, I think. Starfire's a bit slow, even on the draw. Although, is it better than Second Wish? Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to play it on turn 2. Songhai should be able to spread out and take the mana tiles fairly easily. Beyond that, it gets quite clunky, and I'd rather have multiple plays that I can make in one turn, or removal. This Second Wish kind of contributes to that slightly more, where we can make some tempo gains off this. Like this, if this sticks, it becomes 5 power. That's huge. Hey, multiple Sunseers and a Dispel. That's good. This is a better hand than the last one. Although the last one went pretty well. We just happened to die. That's not a Chakri avatar. Can't be too unhappy. So, if I just jam the Sunseer in the middle, what happens? Because my opponent can just, like, Phoenix Fire it, attack it, it dies. That's not dreadful for us. Especially as it allows us to contest the board a little more actively, and it uses up my opponent's mana, and I do have another one. Yeah, let's see how that goes, and I think I'll hold on to this. Yeah, I'll hold on to the second wish. Yeah, right. Oh. So I guess the ideal next turn is this survives. We play Owlbeast Sage, we dispel something, and we use this to kill the Primus Fist and gain some health. But I fully expect this to die now. Okay, so we're going to see... Well, that's a good start. So our opponent must have a Blood Tier Alchemist? Heartseeker Inner Focus? More? Oh boy. Okay. We can do good things now. So I really want to play Scion's second wish actually on this and just attack Reva. Like, if she had a Phoenix Fire in hand, she'd have used it last turn. This is getting dispelled, and I'm going to stand in front of it. I guess she can move, attack here. Maybe it is better just to play the Owlbeast, because we don't have anything else to do this turn. Let's replace one of these. See if we get a first wish. We don't. Okay. I think that honestly the cleanest plan is probably just play Owlbeast. So I guess I can do Sunseer, pump this, dispel this. But then I use up all my triggers. No, I think I'm going to want this Owlbeast Sage more. We just want to get the train rolling. Hit this. I think I'm actually going to leave this up, just so my opponent has to use her Lantern Fox to attack it next turn. No, that's correct, I think. More second wishes. Okay. Well, maybe we can get a second wish. I mean, I very much doubt this survives the turn. Oh, that's promising. No, she's gonna buff this, right? Or like, Hero Power Inner Focus or something. Yeah, sure. That's okay. Teehee. So I think next turn I might just play the Scarab, to be honest. I could play it here and run this up, kill this. Leaves my Sage on 4. If she doesn't do much else this turn, this might be another Fox. So Shiro, okay. That's kind of scary. Right, so I'm sort of honor bound to kill both of these. I think we can replace one of these Scion's wishes, although they are pretty good. Jaxie. Jaxie's not bad. So, if I play this, she basically has to Onyx Bear Seal it, or she dies. The downside is if I play that and I still want to remove the Primus Fist, I have to basically let my Owlbeast Sage die. Not very happy about that. So what I might do is delay this for a turn and instead play... do I Scion second wish this? That's a lot of eggs in one basket if she has the Onyx Bear Seal. Maybe it is better just to play the Starfire Scarab. It does suck to lose the Owlbeast though. Especially when we really don't have to do that. Yeah, it's probably better to have my stuff not just be dead on board, so I'm going to go here, kill this, go here, kill this, play this, do this, and save the second wish. Yeah, that's not terrible. Ooh, a Prismatic Illusionist. Rewarded for keeping the Sage alive, assuming my opponent doesn't have Phoenix Fire or something. But she hasn't demonstrated Phoenix Firiness yet. Onyx Bear Seal. Okay. We found the panda. Sure, running away is interesting. So is this a Chakri? Healing Mystic. I guess that's mildly awkward, but mostly solvable. I think I'm going to replace this Jaxi, and I'm going to hope for a Scion's First Wish. The ideal turn here would be move the Pando down, play a Scarab, move this over, First Wish, bop. Inner Oasis is also not bad. So I guess it's Illusionist Second Wish here. And just attack the Healing Mystic by hand. We can use this to block off some of our opponent's space. This might mean a dead Sunseer, so maybe I should just use Inner Oasis or straight away. Yeah, I think I prefer that. It spends our mana more efficiently, keeps these two alive, and helps us dig towards more interactive cards. Like at some point we're going to need an Entropic Decay or a Scion's First Wish or something. I would like a First Wish just for this. It would be pretty handy. But this illusion being over here is quite convenient because we can play the Starfire Scarab and then move it. That's pretty nice. Assuming, of course, that Shiro doesn't kill it this turn. That's an interesting move, getting further into the corner. We might be able to do the fabled lockout of just surrounding Raver with minions completely. Although I guess we need another Inner Oasis or another Owlbeast Sage to ensure that they didn't just die. Four Winds Magi. This is the stuff I'd want an Entropic Decay for, although we can just kill it with one of our minions with the Scion's Second Wish on. Ow! Or is he going to kill it with Shiro? That'd be interesting. Yeah. Oh, he's attacking me. How odd. Okay. Well, I think we can replace one of these. Blood Tear. So I suppose this turn is just use the Illusionist with Scion's Second Wish to kill this. Play a Scarab. Kill Shiro. Box the opponent in. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Well, the other option actually is to do it with the Sunseer. No, it just dies. How inconvenient. Not bad. It is awkward that we couldn't entirely block off space here, but our opponent can just move. I should have moved the illusionist before buffing it, so I wanted it to be here. But I think this one is going a lot better than the last one. Oh wow, Onyx Basil on that instead of the Scarab. Sweet. Unless she just has another one. But you see how we're just grinding people out, right? I mean, the first Songhai opponent. Oh, we finally drew a Science first. The first Songhai opponent obviously had enough damage to get the job done, but this time around we're just really putting on the hurt. So I think let's replace this Blood Tear. Oh. Time to start the party. What do I pump? This, I think. Oh, it doesn't matter, does it? I'll take advantage of the opportunity to use my Bloodborne spell in that case. Foosh. This is fantastic. Both my opponent and I are top decking, but this is my board. Oh, this is wonderful. Do you see what I mean now about the whole mid-range combo thing? Where we are snowballing a board presence, particularly one with high toughness, because the Owlbeast Sage makes all these into legitimate grindy threats. But, oh, there we go, excellent. But we're doing it by combining, obviously, Arcanysts and spells. Tip my opponent there. Feels good to be generous. Awesome, right. Before I go, I would love to show you this ridiculous replay that happened to me earlier when I was practicing. So this was a game against a Kara player. That is the wrong button. Match history. This one, I think. And it just sort of went on. I think I'm going to run it on high speed and just pause it when I need to discuss things. So, this hand is pretty awkward, but we do have the turn 1 Sunseer. Beyond that, everything's pretty reasonable. You know, Inner Oasis is maybe a little awkward in a hand with only one minion and no Prismatic Illusionist. Cosmic Flash is fine, but not too exciting. But you know, we can replace basically just for utility here. So yeah, so I kept the Inner Oasis over the Entropic Decay. I don't know if that was correct in retrospect, just because Kara decks like to play large minions next to you. I was sort of partially fearing Mechazol. So standard opening, playing the Sunseer, where it can't be harmed by my opponent's stuff immediately, so I get to play a buff spell on it and attack. So Kara chooses to come forward, which I thought was quite unusual. Lack of 4-drop in hand, perhaps. This Spelljammer was great. So at this point, I think, well, I have a relatively synergistic deck, right? I have some cards that are a bit situational. I like to assemble, you know, Arcanist plus this, plus that, plus the other. So I'm just going to leave that Spelljammer there forever and ignore it as best I can. So here I decide to, I think I played the Scarab and killed the Healing Mystic. So this Scarab play is mostly, I was mostly expecting it to die, because Kara decks tend to have a good density of answers for things. So generally with synergy decks versus Kara, you have to first grind out their initial glut of things like Chromatic Cold, Cryogenesis, and what have you. But this play actually suggested that maybe she didn't have that much going on. It's entirely possible that she just wanted to remove the 4/6, but you know, this could have been a Cryogenesis attack it, for instance, with the Spelljammer. I guess the Spelljammer was maybe reasonably valuable for her. So now we're seeing the Arcanysts come out. So again, I'm just going to kind of slam this and hope my opponent doesn't have a way to interact with it. And this play here is really nice because, as you can see, I get to make my guys pretty beefy. I decide to play the Dispel even though it's not strictly necessary, just because the Spelljam is there fueling my hand. So there's not much point in hanging onto it when I can use it to get some tempo, extra toughness. So the Owlbeast draws a hard removal spell, which is slightly sad, but it did its work. So here comes all the removal that I kind of would have expected her to have played in the previous turn, rather than spending her entire turn killing the Scarab. So it's possible that she just drew it off the top. So you can see I'm just ignoring the Spelljammer, and she's doing her best to protect it, but I'm more than happy for her to just do that. You know, she can faff around with it while I use it to help me assemble my synergies. If it wasn't for the Spelljammer, this game would not have been anywhere near as epic as it was, I imagine. So at this point I'm slightly constrained by mana. So what I decided to do in the end was play the Illusionist and protect it with Cosmic Flesh, that's what it's called. And I decided not to attack here, so that if my opponent had Cryogenesis for it, they would have to attack it themselves rather than being able to attack the 2/3 with Kara in order to get rid of it. Which I think is exactly what happened, so I was rewarded for my playing around things. So this makes me sad, because now my board is empty. So I think for the first time I'm not feeling particularly comfortable with my board state. But I can kill the tiger with my face, which is, you know, not the worst thing ever. And my hand is pretty stacked. If a little awkward, because I can't do everything I would want to here. So there's a lot of nice lines. I think Owlbeast, Dervish, and then just Scion's First Wish is a good one. Is that what I did? I played Second Wish on the Dervish. Yeah, that's good. So this play basically spreads my opponent's removal, because again, I can assume that she will have more. Kara decks generally have, as well as their Chromatic Holds and Cryogenesis, they tend to have a lot of removal minions, like this Dancing Blades, and this Blood Tier Alchemist, which she's about to play. Yeah, there we go. Your Ephemeral Shrouds, Maws, all this sort of stuff. So my plan in this is just basically to force my opponent to work as hard as possible to remove my stuff, and as you can see, she's left the Owlbeast Sage up, which is a very good sign, because I have Entropic Decay in my hand for this Dancing Blades, and now I can start to go to town. So this is sort of the point where the game starts to turn in my favour. Now I'm starting to properly snowball. I've just drawn a Prismatic Illusionist to go with my Owlbeast Sage, which is generally the sort of game-winning combo of this deck. At the same time, my opponent has a full hand, which is why I attacked there. You can't just let Kara sit around drawing 2 cards a turn for all eternity, because she will eventually play enough large minions that you just can't keep up. But, you know, we're both basically doing the same thing. It's just that I play my minions before I buff them, and she plays hers afterwards. And my stuff is funnier. So that looks like an Ephemeral Shroud. Yep. So my Owlbeast Sage Dreams are cut short, and it dies owing to having taken 4 damage. And this Primus is a bit sad. I'm more than happy for the Spelljammer to keep running away, though. So I've drawn another Owlbeast Sage. This is good. I have a few interesting lines here. An awkward lack of a large number of spells, but I do at least get to play Bone Swarm to clear the 3/3, using the Blood Tier Alchemist, and then Inner Oasis to get some toughness on my team, trigger the Illusionist again, and I figure I might as well start working on killing this Primus Shieldmaster. So my life total is a bit low here, but Kara decks don't generally have a lot of burst, especially as we've already seen 2 Saberspine Tigers. So it's relatively safe to make that attack. Certainly more than it would be against, say, Magmar or Lionar. So this allows her to trade with my Sunseer, which makes me a little bit sad. As you can see by my sick emote plays. And here is some serious meat. So right now I'm feeling pretty scared. You know, what was a game where I was massively ahead has been swung behind, and Kara still has quite a few cards in hand, so I'm more than a little bit worried here. So I replaced the Starfire Scarab on account of it being a little slow. So I misplay here because I didn't realize I was going to use the Owlbeast Sage. I was getting close to rope and was sort of counting as I went. So I could have had quite a lot more toughness on my stuff, which would have made this following turn quite a lot better. And I think it would have possibly kept one of my illusions that attacked into the 4/3 Blood Tier Alchemist alive as well. But such is the price of roping. Sometimes you misplay and lose something like, I don't know, 20 toughness as a result. You know. So this is looking pretty bad, but at least I've drawn Dominate Will, which is really good. You know, stealing the 10/4 is not a terrible idea. But stealing something with more toughness is kind of more ideal. Fortunately, I replace into the Siphon Energy, which I can use to kill the Dancing Blades because it has exactly 4 buffs on it. So at this point I get to go steal one of your large minions, remove the other for no mana, put 4 extra toughness on most of my stuff, and eat your creatures. The power of Owlbeast Sage. And again, if I hadn't misplayed the previous turn, I would have had way more hardware on board right now. Possibly even my opponent wouldn't have been able to remove the giant provoke illusionist. So she draws Aspect of the Fox, which is a bit sad. I have to assume that was a top deck, else she'd probably have used it rather than smashing the Dancing Blades in. But I may be wrong. So this Primus is not a massive threat, and the fact that this turn is a lot less impactful than the previous ones gives me a fair bit of hope. You know, no 10 toughness Dancing Blades this time. So the double Inner Oasis here is pretty terrifying. So I decided to make use of the opportunity to use my Bloodborne spell instead. Because mana is not as much of a constraint here, and I want to get as much value as possible. So I decided to drop the Rust Crawler because Kara doesn't generally play artifacts. And again, at this point I'm roping, so I just kind of smash some stuff into her stuff and run forward. It gets quite mentally difficult to keep track of everything that's going on. In the interests of pushing my opponent out of the game as much as I can and allowing her less flexibility in playing minions, I decide to finally kill the Spelljammer. And there you have it. We snowballed an absurd amount of toughness on the board, played Arcanist after Arcanist, weathered the storm of horrifically powerful Kara interaction and giant bodies, and had one of the most memorable and funnest games of Duelist I've had in a while. If that's not a ringing endorsement, I don't know what is. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening, as always. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the encouragement people who've given me as well. Thank you for the couple of people who've messaged me or told me that they really like what I'm doing. That's very heartening, and I really appreciate it. That's why I keep doing this. I have struggled somewhat with deck ideas for this week, and I was getting a little stressed, and I finally found this and one other deck, which I'll probably do next week, yesterday, which made me very happy. I was going to do Shadow Nova this week, but if you weren't aware, Counterplay have announced that Shadow Nova is going to be reworked, or the creep mechanic in general is going to be reworked in the upcoming expansion in about a month and a half, I think is when it's meant to come out, which means I'm probably going to have to think of something else to do for Abyssian, so watch this space on that one. Not sure what to do there, but until next time, this was myself and Arcanysts Vitruvian having fun and making lots of toughness. I'm going to have to keep playing with this deck, it's so good. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you next time.